Welcome, I'm Mike McMillan. Let's get started right away. Let me show you the effect first, and then I'll show you exactly how to do it in different situations, okay? What it is that I'd like to do today, okay? So what we'll be looking at is what I call a ghosting effect. So again, here's the clip that we just looked at one more time. What it is that I'd like to do today, okay? So what we'll be looking at is what I'd like to point out in here is, let me go back to about this point right here. Maybe let's come out to about here, and let's go frame by frame. I'll push my right arrow over key on my computer, on my Mac, and we'll just go frame by frame and show you something. So what you can see is when this starts to fade out, as I start to fade out on the left, I start to fade in on the right. Again, this is just frame by frame. And at exactly the same time, when I have completely faded out on the left, then I have completely faded in on the right. So when I do this, what I did is I shot this video clip of me talking right here, and you can tell by the background that I'm moving. And one big key is, don't change the camera angle when you do this. Leave the camera exactly where it is, okay? And then I shot a frame, or I shot the video clip just like this. And then what I did is I came over here and I moved about 2 feet to the right. That's a bad picture right there. I moved about 2 feet to the right. Now, you don't want to move from way, way over here to way, way over here, because I don't like that effect. It's kind of jarring for the viewer to watch that. So I just moved about 2 feet. Depending on your background and how you're set up, don't move that far. I like to have, when I do this, I like to have some overlap. As you can see right here, where there's some overlap between the right image and the left image, and there's overlap right in here. But the other thing is, when I did this, you may notice that when this plays, now let's watch this. I'd like to do today, okay? Right there. Now right there, when I got to the point where I wanted to have this ghost effect come in, I was talking and then I paused. I tried to be as still as I possibly could be for about 3 seconds, okay? So I don't want like a quick cut from one to the other. So I like to, as I'm talking, when I get done talking over here, I like to pause for about 3 seconds and not move. As soon as I'm done speaking, when I get done speaking that part, I like to pause for about 3 seconds, and that gives the viewer a little time to breathe, a little pause there. If you don't stop and pause for a few seconds, like I said, about 3 seconds is plenty. If you don't pause, it can get kind of jarring, and you get kind of an overlap thing, and I'll show you that in just a second. But so what I would recommend doing is, if you're standing up, you could stand up just like this, and you could be talking, then pause for 3 seconds, okay? And then after you've paused 3 seconds, keep the camera rolling, and then just take a step over to the right or to the left, whichever way, and the camera's still shooting, and then you're talking over here, and you'll get a nice transition, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. What we'll be looking at is just like that, okay? I'll show you how to achieve this effect that I just showed you inside of ScreenFlow, but first, you can use the same effect in a green screen clip, as I'll show you next. Let's check out this very short clip I shot in front of my green screen. Okay, well, today what we'll do is we're going to take a look at ScreenFlow and look at some of the very best functions inside that you can use to make them more entertaining and informative for your YouTube viewers. Okay, so very quickly, let me just show you how I shot the green screen effect and how I implemented it here. This isn't a green screen tutorial, but since I showed you that, if you're not familiar with this, let's run through it very quickly. Okay, so this is me standing in front of my green screen. Now my green screen, you can buy these things on Amazon that are like pull down green screens or hang up green screens, or foldable green screens that pop open when you unfold them. I just went to a fabric store, Joann Fabrics store locally here, and I bought a piece of material that's this green color. Okay, the lights make it look a little lighter. My green screen is actually just a tad bit darker than this, but basically I bought a green screen, and different times, sometimes I use gaffer tape to fix it on the wall. Right now I used a staple gun and just stapled it up to a wall in my office. But somehow you need a green screen to do this. Okay, my green screen cost me, I think it was under $10 for a piece that was like 8 feet by 6 feet, something like that. Anyway, so you need to have a green screen. The other thing, big important thing that you need to have is something like this. It requires a minimum of 2 lights, and what I do is I have one light that comes in from this direction, and I have another light that comes in from this direction. Okay, just like this. And I'm aiming for an area that is actually right about here. I'm not aiming right at my head. I'm aiming for an area with each light that's right about here. And the light will flush through. Your goal is to cover your entire visible green screen with a uniform green color. Okay, so that's the goal with your green screen. Now, having said that, there are a couple important things to think about. I set my lights up right here so that the distance from my light into the side of my face right here, this is about 3 feet, okay, on each side. So my light is about 3 feet away from me over here, and it's also going to be on this side. This light will be about 3 feet away from me over here. Okay, so that's important. You don't want to get them too close, because if they're too close, you can flush out the area. It'll get lighter around your face, and that's about how I do that. Okay, now the other big thing is right here. I am standing. Let me just take a look. I've got my floor marked here. I am standing about 4 feet in front of my green screen. So I don't want the lights coming down and flushing out the side of my face. They're aimed at the screen. Now I'll get a little bit of, light on me from the lights on each side, but mainly they're not lighting me up, they're lighting up the screen behind me. Okay? And then once I shoot this, once I begin shooting, if you've got a uniform green color in the background, okay, you should be good to go. If you've got a good green screen, uniform color, you can be good to go, and you can shoot this. Okay, so that's how I shot with my green screen. Now let me show you how this green screen effect actually works. Okay, so here's a video clip that I shot. We just looked at this a second ago. And look at some of the I shot this in front of my green screen. Now, I'm going to come down here and click on this speaker right here and disable the sound, because we don't care about the sound. I want to be able to talk over it. I don't want to talk over myself here. So turn the sound off, but here's the video that I've got. Okay, now what you need to do is just click anywhere on this video clip. Just click it. It'll highlight it in yellow, just like this, okay? Then you want to make sure that you're clicked on the video icon, this one right here in your ScreenFlow menu off to the right. Okay? And when you do that, you're going to come down here to where it says Video Filters and click on the plus sign right there. That will let us add a video filter. And the very first one at the top, it says Chroma Key. So I'll double click on that and see what that did. What happened to our green background? Well, it kind of disappeared on us, didn't it? That's good. Okay, so what I want to do then, and I've made some adjustments to the color. You don't have to worry. You can do that if you want to, and you do. That's not important here. But I've got this Chroma Key effect. Now, probably when this comes up, let me just show you this. You're going to have a green color. You're going to have a box with some color in it. And what you want to do is click on that. And when this comes up, your your image may look something like this, which is horrible. That's not what you want. But what you need to do in this color picker is you need to move this around and try to find the color green in this color picker that's the same as the green color on your green screen. And you can see down here it's way too blue. It's not taking it out. It's not working. But when I get up here someplace, okay, that's not working there. Right about here. See how that works real good? And this is about the same color as my screen right there. So you want to come as close as you can. Now, if you have to, you can adjust the white clip tolerance angle, and maybe you can get it a little better. That's no good. I would keep this way over there like that. And the tolerance, okay, see that helps moving the tolerance over like that. And then the angle, that's no good, but I would keep that almost all the way over too. So you can play with these if you have to, but you want to clean up as much, any extra color in there, you want to clean that up. Okay, so now we've done this green screen, okay, and we can close this window down right now. And now when we play this, okay, there I am talking. Now, the green screen, this Chroma Key Effect, took all the green out from behind me. I have no color behind me, black, no color, okay? So then what I need to do is come up here to my media library, right there. Now, in the video that I showed you, the very first video that I showed you, I used this color right here. This is all of these images are things, I might have made this one. No, I got all these from CanStock Photo, you can see. They cost, I think it's $2.50 a piece, and you can download any one you want. I think they're $2.50, maybe they're $3.50. It doesn't matter, but okay. So this is just an image that I bought, and what I'm going to do is drag this down into my timeline. Okay, now watch what happens. Okay, here is my scrubber bar right here, and I'm going to drag this photo. Remember, we've taken all of the color out behind me. So now I'm going to drag whatever image I want down to the bottom. Now here's my video, here's the audio that I've disabled, and now I'm going to drag this over and watch and see what happens. Okay, I can drag this over, and whoops, I missed it. I can drag this over and make it the full length of my clip. Now look what happened. Now I have this background. Now, this image, I bought small images. They cost less than the big images. So I'm going to have to drag this out, make it big enough to fit my whole canvas area there. So now what I've got with that green screen effect, it looks like I'm standing in front of this wooden wall. I'm really not. I'm standing in front of my green screen. And you can do the same thing. Let me delete that and just show you, here's a blue, this is just a grungy blue background. Any image that you put behind here will appear to be what you're standing in front of. And so again, right here, whoops, I need to, again, I need to drag this out, make it big enough to fill my whole canvas area, just like that. Now it looks like I'm standing in front of some kind of grungy, blue background. Same thing, we won't do all of these, but here's a beach scene. Whoops, I missed that. Whoops, let me get out here. Having a hard time grabbing this beach scene. There we go. And this is just a picture of a beach. So now it looks like I'm going to have to drag this out. It's not quite big enough to fill my whole canvas area right there. And now when I do this, it looks like I'm standing in front of that beach. Okay, so that's how you can green screen things. You put a green screen up, you shoot your video, you apply that chroma effect in ScreenFlow, and then you can add any image at all that you'd like. Here's one standing inside. Now it looks like I'm standing in front of a window. Okay, well, this brings us to the point, the exciting part, because this is where I want to show you how to create that ghosting effect. Now, maybe you're standing in front of your desk like I did. Maybe you're just standing in front of a blank wall, whatever you're standing in front of or sitting in front of, okay. Maybe you're using a green screen effect like I showed you, but whatever you're doing, you've got a clip. And this is the initial clip that you saw at the beginning of this video. I was standing on the left-hand side of my desk over here, okay, in this part of the video, and then I moved over to the right-hand side, and I want to create that ghosting effect between standing here and standing here. Okay, now let's come into about this far right here, and let me just play this so that you can see, because okay, I'm on the left hand side of the desk. Now watch right there. See how I paused? There's about a 2 or 3 second pause right in there, and I just want to make sure you see that. There's my pause. After the pause, I move over to the right. I'll scrub over a little bit, and now I'm talking on the right. So to create this ghosting effect, all you have to do is, it's very easy. We'll come in here, and when I get to this pause, right here, this is where that pause starts. Okay, and then right there, that's where my pause starts, right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me highlight this clip right here, and I'm going to come up to the top. We'll use a little trick, and we'll come down from at the top from mark to markers, and we'll do an add, and it says name your marker. I'll just put a 1 in there. We'll just call it 1, create. And then what that did right here, see this little orange arrow? That's a marker, okay? And I put a marker right at the start of when my pause began, okay? So we're right there. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to let this play. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to come over here and click on this speaker to turn it off. I'm going to disable the sound in this clip so I don't have to try to talk over it. But I'm going to let this play. Now I move over here. Okay, now watch. When it gets right here, now I just started talking right there. This is where I'm not talking. Now I am talking. I'll come back here. And I've highlighted this clip. I hit T. When you hit T, it splits the clip. So I've split that clip right there. Because right here, this is where I start talking. Okay? Now what I want to do is come back here. Remember, this is where my pause starts, and I want to scrub over with my scrubber bar until my pause just before it ends. When I close my eyes, my pause has ended. So I want to come over right about here. That's where my pause ends. I'm going to highlight this clip, hit T, click on this middle thing, and I'm going to cut that out. So what I cut out was me moving from this point to this point over here. So now if I drag my clips together, let's watch and see what this looks like. Okay, I'm talking on the left-hand side. Okay, here comes my pause. There's my pause, and now I'm on the right-hand side. So all I have to do to create that ghosting effect is just take this clip and slide it over until I get to the place where my pause starts, and that place is right on this marker. That's why I made that marker there. So I just slide this over till I hit the marker right there. And now let's watch it and see what happens. Okay, here we come right there. See the ghosting effect in there? Now I'll tell you, it looks a little choppy. That's nothing I did wrong, nothing you did wrong. It's just a function of ScreenFlow. But when you export this, and when you get the clip the way you want it, when you export this and you come up to File and go to Export, it'll turn it in from a ScreenFlow document into an MP4 file. And so I'm not going to have you watch it render. It takes a couple minutes for it to render out. But let me show you that after I exported this, just so you can see how nice and smooth it comes out. Okay, so let's take a look at that. It is that I'd like to do today, okay? So what we'll be looking at is what I call a ghosting effect, sort of fading out of one. It is that I'd like to do today, okay? So what we'll be looking at is what I call a ghosting effect, sort of fading out of one.